Our offensive performer of the year in the Covert Aire Best of the Bowl series started out the year having 305 yards in the very first game from John Paul II, Zach Doe. Zach, congratulations.
Thank you.
So this year, the season started out on a bang, needless to say. Last year you were 0-10, this year 6-5. How much fun was it being on a team that improved so much?
I wasn't on the team last year when we were 0-10, but it's a lot more fun. Like, they had a lot more experience last year. So I understand it was their first year playing 11-man football. And, like, being one of the main, I guess, offsets of the team was big for me and big for them.
The first game, you ran it in double overtime for the touchdown, and the enthusiasm from the players and fans was absolutely off the charts. Tell us a little about that.
When I ran it, all I know is just that everyone was happy, but like they were like happy to a point where they didn't know what to do because it's like the first game they won.
They weren't sure how to celebrate, right? They'd never done it before. For the season, you had 1,918 yards rushing. You had 26 touchdowns. In the offseason coming up to get ready for next year, what are your plans?
I'm just planning to get better over the offseason, gain weight, just get ready for next season.
Coach, obviously he has great physical attributes, but what really makes Zach the player that he is and the team leader that he is?
His work ethic. He's so humble, as you can see. You almost have to take a crowbar to prise a little bit of information out of him, but his work ethic, make no mistake, he works out every day after school, every day. And if I would allow him, he'd probably stay and do the same thing all over again. That's just Zach. So make no mistake, it's his work ethic.
In practice, does he go as hard as he does in a game?
Absolutely. Never takes a play off in practice. And listen, it's the games are won when nobody's watching, so that's why he has success in the games.
Zach, some of the more interesting stuff. Let's talk about Zach. So once high school's over, what are you looking to do further on and as you grow?
Well, I'm of course go to college, but I might go for either physical therapy or computer science.
The total yards this year, next year will be your second year in with JP2's 11-man football. Are you going to be able to put even more yards and break more records? Is that what we have to look forward to next year?
Yes, I'm hoping to break 2,000 and at least 30 touchdowns next year.
Well, the defensive performer of the year is in your conference, so that'll be interesting to see how all that works out.
Well, I mean, the defensive performer, like when we played him, Thomas Hayward, he was like the only person who tackled me, so it's kind of funny.
Congratulations.
It's no coincidence that our defensive performer of the year comes from one of the more successful teams here in the Low Country this year, Thomas Hayward Academy. They finished the season 9-3. They won their first playoff game this year in overtime, 20-14, before bowing out of the playoffs. With 157 tackles this year, 19 for losses. Zach Bond, congratulations on a great season. We're pleased to have you here.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
How much fun was this season for you? Your team had a lot of success. I know when we got done with the prep game, you were interviewed. You were the MVP of the game. You had, your team was very engaged. They seemed like they were actually having fun playing football. Imagine that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. We had a great group of guys around. There's a lot of young guys, and they got a lot to learn. But we had a great defense and a great group of guys. It was a whole lot of fun, and they really fed off that energy. And there was a lot of nasty guys on that front defensive line, and it was a whole lot of fun to play in. And a lot of them weren't like big physical specimens, but they had a whole lot of heart, and they'd do anything to hit you, and I loved it. So it was a great year, and if I could do it again, I'd do it the same. So it was a whole lot of fun.
That's the way you're supposed to feel. The team, like I just said, was 9-3, so obviously you had a lot of big moments, a lot of good times out there. Anything stick out in your mind as to what might have been a highlight for you?
Well, that John Paul game was a whole lot of fun, like I said, and I think all the region games we came into, and we kind of felt like we played like a chip on our shoulder all year, and there was a lot of guys like that Loco Sports, they were counting us out, and they were predicting us to lose, and we just kept on rolling right along, and we played with a chip on our shoulder, like I said, and it was just physical, from all four quarters, every game we played. And that's really, we fed off that energy and those big hits and loud and talking a little bit of trash, now and
well, that's part of the game,
then.
right?
That's the whole game for me. So It's a lot of fun.
We look at, if I were a college coach and there was somebody here from South Carolina that played on a team that was 9-3 and he led the low country in tackles with 157, I know I'd be interested in him. Your potential plans for next year, who have you maybe been looking at to go and bring your talents to?
I've been looking at a couple schools, Newberry, North Greenville, just not, nothing real formal, just kind of looking around, and I've been on a couple visits now, but just looking around here and there, sending some film to some places, and we'll see what happens. Just one day at a time, I guess. That's how
Mike?
we're gonna do it.
This is exactly what makes coaches smile. Good-looking kid, doesn't mind a camera, and just wants to go out and hit somebody. And in today's activities, all these public schools and the two top performers are Skeesa schools. What do you attribute that to? Do you think, is it Coach Shuford and Coach Wald bringing these programs together? Skeesa ball? What is it?
It's like a lot of it, I feel like, is like playing with a chip on the shoulder. Like, it's like everybody says, like, oh, public school's this and public school's that and private school's not this and private school's not that. And you get really tired of hearing that, and I'm kind of like, all right, y'all want to say that? I'll show you what I can do on the field. It kind of makes you mad hearing this, and what would he do in a public school field? It don't matter what I'm doing in public school because I'm not playing for public school. And that's just the way I played, and that's the way we played.
Zach, let me ask your coach, Nick Shuford, here. How much have you enjoyed having Zach on the team, and how much are you going to miss him?
We've enjoyed having Zach, that's for sure, and he's definitely going to be missed. It's hard to replace 157 tackles. He was the leader of our defense this year. He was the guy that got everybody going, and you can't replace somebody like Zach. But we're going to have some guys step up, and we'll be all right.
The qualities that he brings on a day-to-day basis.
It's the motor. I mean,
it just keeps going.
He goes
it's
kind of like his mouth,
rapid,
it
right?
just keeps
it
rolling.
Keeps going. Got it.
He never stops. He's making sure that everybody on his team is just as motivated and as excited as he is every day.
Zach Bond, congratulations on being the Defensive Performer of the Year.
The one thing about it, if you talk the talk, you got to be able to walk it, and I think this man does. And I tell you what, all the schools, Skeesa, public schools, we have great schools here. Maybe he just got onto something. Maybe there needs to be public school and private school football.
When y'all go back and make that rule, call me up, and I'll be right there playing.
Zach, thanks so much. Congratulations. And we'll be back right after these messages.